was a pretty good movie. Okay, I don't give a fuck what you guys say. It's a pretty good movie. Look, is it going to change cinema forever? Probably not. Is it going to change in Indian cinema? Yeah, dude, like nothing like this has happened because this is kind of an extended universe that can. Very few of them are really memorable and relevant after a few years. Like, think about what's the last film that you can think about which was really memorable, and probably a movie that comes to mind just like Brahmāstra, like similar to Brahmāstra, is probably Bahubali, right? But nobody's fucking playing with Bahubali action figures or anything like that. And this is less about the movie and more about the Indian entertainment industry in general. I know that, but it's like that's what I'm saying, that Indian entertainment industry just does not know how to merchandise, and this is why I think this won't really be a long impactful film, at least not relevant in the next 5 years. I think I could be wrong, and it won't be memorable for sure because people are already kind of forgetting about it and getting over the memes and stuff. Like, this movie didn't spawn a community of Brahmāstra fans, I think it was supposed to do that, and I think that's the point of these huge big budget movies, at least outside of India it is, because you can see that even projects like Squid Games or wait, I'm talking about movies, so let's compare it to the movie like Marvel, right? Because you might say that they have a base of comic fans, but Marvel Cinematic Universe has just a completely different fan base which doesn't give a fuck about comics and doesn't know anything about comics, and they're just like addicted to the Marvel pipeline. Same with Disney. This is why Disney is so big, because Disney merchandises like hell. And I'm not blaming it on anyone specifically. I get it, India does not have the money right now, and the people and the audience are just not rich enough to buy their shit, and like that could just be another failure. And I know that Disney is probably not the most profitable company ever because of this merchandising and stuff, but I'm just saying that this is what shapes people's childhoods outside of India. So to treat it like Brahmas, like something like Disney or something like Marvel, is a little like you're exaggerating a little bit, right? And Bahubali is hit, I get it, but again, nobody's crazy about Bahubali anymore too. Like, people like the film and people like to make fun of some of the scenes maybe, but nobody is a genuine fan and has like formed a community. Like, nobody is like discussing about Bahubali, and they tried it. Actually, they did try merchandising it, and you can see that it has some effect and some impact. So it does have some success because they have books and animated shows that are like spin-offs of Bahubali, which is pretty good, right? And they had a TV show, I think, about the mother, which is also crazy. Like, they did that. That's pretty big, I think. But if you look at it, like, there's not going to be a subreddit called r/Bahubali, which is talking about Bahubali theories or how this like costume was so good and stuff like this. Like, no fringe niche subreddits about this stuff. Whereas for other stuff, at least outside of India, there like, people go crazy, man. Like, some details or some costume designer, and people just start following the costume designer who designed the costume of a certain character. Nobody is doing that with Brahmāstra. So is it a good movie? Yes, but it's like, if you want me, like, I cannot talk about the film because it's not that memorable. Like, okay, like, there was SRK's character, but he was not at all developed or built upon. He was just like this guy, and dude, okay, SRK kind of acted a little cringy. I'm sorry, I know I love SRK as a celebrity, but he acted a little cringy, and like, the smirk that he does. But like, dude, you're getting beaten, like, you're getting the shit kicked out of you by two random goons, and you're supposed to be this Astra holder. I think he was Power Astra, pata nahi kaun sa Astra, I forget. Again, see, my memory is not good. I don't blame the film for this. And he was supposed to be like the Vanar Astra. Yes, it's so weird because there's Agni Astra, but then there's Vanar Astra. And Agni and Vanar, they're not in the same category. One is like a force of nature, other is just a being in nature, right? A mythological being. And I get it, like, that's the thing, that there are like levels to it, because Agni Astra is like the force of nature, so it's like the most powerful Astra, and then Vanar Astra is below that. But he got his shit kicked by like random goons with nothing, man, and that was pretty bad. But okay, and I'm happy for Moni Roy because, like, dude, that was like such a crazy decision, right? To make Moni Roy the main villain of this huge uh, story and this one film that is supposed to be so huge. And it did good and kind of revived Bollywood's business, but did it though, and like, I don't know. I just don't believe that Brahmāstra. Here's the thing I don't also believe. And again, this is like I'm going crazier as I speak. I sound like a conspiracy theorist now. But how is it possible that Brahmāstra, which was like so popular and so much into the pop culture, at least when it came out for the few months, like the month leading up to Brahmāstra and the month after Brahmāstra, and the month when it released, so like 3 months, it was the only movie that anybody gave a shit about, right? And everybody was talking about it, and everybody was either making fun of it or appreciating it for its VFX, and VFX were good. Okay, let's just appreciate that. Yes, they were very good, and there were scenes that you didn't even know where VFX was probably used. That's when the VFX are good, right? Because it's like, I don't even know if this crowd is fake or if this crowd is real, or that set in the background is real or fake, and I cannot tell that. And that's actually good. Like, of course, the effects and the energy effects were good, and they were also creative. They were not just like good in a realistic sense, but they were also creative, which is good. Again, completely off point. But what I'm saying was, like, 3 months, around the 3 months, Brahmāstra was the only thing that people were watching. And somehow, RRR, which was huge, it was huge, and it was huge internationally too. But like, I'm just talking about domestic here. Not a lot of people watched around me. I don't know if it's just around me, and nobody was like memeing RRR or like knows fire. I don't think most people can even name the characters of RRR, and I love that film. RRR is my favorite film currently in Indian cinema, which is like a blockbuster film. Come on, and it's pretty good, and it's really really fun, and it's a fun watch. Except for second half when they break the suspension of disbelief, because in the first half it was actually very good, and the second half it's like bikes flying, dude. Like, you had to do that. You had to go there, like flying bikes. Don't do that, man. Anyways, yeah, so RRR was good, but again, it was not that memorable, right? But it's still, how can it beat the box office of Brahmāstra and KGF 2, which like everybody only knows the name of one character, Yash, and Rocky. Sorry, I named the actual guy, Rocky. Everybody only knows that guy, and still, how is it beating Brahmāstra? And it's crazy. I don't know. I'm like skeptical about this stuff. That's not even related to the movie? I like Brahmāstra again. I know nobody's watching at this point, but I'll just say that it's a solid movie, especially for Indians. Because if you're not Indians, or if you're not in the South Asian, yes, if you're outside of South Asia, this movie might be like a good movie or like a fun movie that you forget about. But if you're from South Asia, this is like the thing for you, right? Because I get it that South Asian countries don't really get along, but if you're one of those people who likes Indian culture, then you are like, dude, we got our own now. We have our own Marvel now. Because this was like actually cool, and it's nice to see that there are directors who actually care and are really passionate, and it kind of shows, because they're not just doing it for marketing. Of course, a lot of it is just for marketing, and I do kind of hate that also, because like, we get it, alright, this is just shit you're making up just for the marketing. But you can see that they care. At least Ayan Mukherjee clearly cares, and the team cares, the whole team, the people who didn't even get their names. Like we're talking about VFX, and nobody knows who did the VFX. Like, who are the people who worked on this film, We don't know, and everyone's like, oh, the VFX are great. And again, this has happened in Hollywood, and this will happen here. Nobody gives a shit about the people who are behind the scenes. Even though like directors are getting some amount of fame now in India, I get it, it's cool, but like, who are the people who VFX supervisors and all of that shit, dude? Those guys actually worked hard, and nobody gives a shit about them now. Anyways, is it going to be like Ranveer Singh, who is going to be Dev, Ranveer Singh, or is it going to be just Ranbir Kapoor? I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's going to be cool. I hope they don't make it Ranbir Kapoor, because it will be very cheesy. Even if it is done well, even like the double role thing has just gotten too cheesy at this point, for me especially. Unless they like make him cool and change him a lot. And if they put a lot of makeup on Ranbir Singh, so technically it's Ranbir Singh playing Dev, but he doesn't really, like, he looks like Ranbir Singh, of course, but he looks like a different person. Like, how you look like your dad, but your dad is completely a different person. If they do it in that, like, if they go to that direction, that's good. But if they do it just like adding a beard or adding white hair or some shit, like some basic ass shit like that, then I won't be happy. I'm going to watch it, of course. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't get all the hate around it. Could it be better? Yes. The thing with dialogues is, the only thing that I did not like about the dialogues, that Shiva thing, that meme I don't really get it. I mean, maybe she did that too much, but I was too engrossed in the film to ever care. But the thing is that they don't speak like real Indian people, and nobody who's poor acts like they're poor, because Ranveer Singh is supposed to be like poor as fuck, dude, in this film. He's a DJ. DJs don't get paid a lot in India, and like the average DJ, I'm saying, and he lives in like a anath ashram. But the thing is that everybody talks in either Shuddh Hindi or they switch to English. I don't think people speak English. So, but like everyone's talking in Shuddh Hindi. Like कि ये मेरी इच्छा है कि मेरे साथ प्लीज़ ऐसा कर रहे हैं हम, प्लीज़ भी नहीं, like कृपया आप ऐसा कर सकते हैं, इस टाइप की हिंदी बोल रहे हैं, which is so weird. Like I get it, but nobody speaks Hindi like this in India.